Good evening. I just want to, before we start, announce that when our performance is over, there will be an opportunity, if you would like to venerate the cross, that will happen right up front here. So if you would like to do that, that opportunity will be available for you, and we'll just form a line up here. The kids may be back here signing the cross. Every year we sign the cross after the class gets done using it. But just want to let you know a little time about that. I also want to thank Primo, who is here. This will be live streamed and thus then recorded. So I want to thank Primo for doing that for us. Good evening. We would like to welcome you to the 2025 Living Way of the Cross. This evening, you will witness the story of Christ's passion. You will see how Jesus was betrayed and abandoned by his own friends. The crowd that had just days earlier welcomed him into Jerusalem will now demand that he be crucified. You will see the pain of his mother Mary and the compassion of Veronica and Simon of Cyrene. You will be witness to his death on the cross and rejoice in his resurrection. On behalf of the St. Patrick's School 8th grade class, we welcome you to the Living Way of the Cross.
Holiness he suffered, he took bread in his sacred hands, and looking up to heaven, to you, his almighty Father, he gave you thanks and praise.
He broke the bread, gave it to his disciples, and said, "Take this, all of you, and eat it. This is my body, which will be given up for you."
In a similar way, when supper was ended, he took the chalice, and once more he gave you thanks and praise, gave the chalice to his disciples, and said, "Take this, all of you, and drink from it. This is the chalice of my blood, the blood of the new and eternal covenant, which will be poured out for you and for many, for the forgiveness of sins."
While Jesus and his friends enjoyed supper, Judas, one of the 12 disciples, slipped away.
Judas met up with the Sanhedrin, or the clerics of the Jewish church. The Sanhedrin were very angry with the popularity that Jesus had gained. They wanted to arrest Jesus and charge him with blasphemy.
Judas told the Sanhedrin where Jesus could be found, and in return for this information, Judas was given 30 silver coins.
Judas told the Sanhedrin that the person who he kissed on the cheek would be the man they wanted to arrest.
Then Jesus went out to the Garden of Gethsemane, and his disciples followed him. Jesus said to them, "All of you will have your faith shaken tonight, for it is written, 'I will strike the shepherd, and the sheep will disperse.' For one will betray me tonight, and one will deny me 3 times before the cock crows twice."
They began to recline in the warm evening. Jesus stayed there a while, and then withdrew from them, about a stone's throw, where he fell to the ground and began to pray.
Garden blazing furnace and said, "Could you not stay awake with me for even an hour? Be on guard and pray that you may not be put to the test. For the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. Look, my betrayer is at hand."
While he was still speaking, Judas, one of the 12 disciples, arrived, accompanied by soldiers with swords and spears. Judas had created a signal to let the soldiers know who Jesus was. Immediately, Judas went to Jesus and kissed him on the cheek.
How could a gesture usually reserved for affection be used in such a cruel way? Jesus was betrayed with a single kiss.
At daybreak, they brought Jesus to the praetorium. His disciples had scattered and fled in fear. They left him alone to face Pilate.
That early morning, Jesus stood before Pilate, unbowed, unbroken, and unafraid.
"Are you king of the Jews?" Pilate cried.
"It is you who say so," came the reply.
The crowd cried.
Before Jesus, Pilate stood, bowed, broken, and afraid. He handed him over first to be scourged, hoping this would satisfy the crowd.
Then he washed his hands in the sight of the crowd, saying, "I am innocent of this man's blood. See to it yourselves." The soldiers, cold and knowing, whipped him, mocked him,
King of the Jews!
and crowned him with thorns.
After ridiculing and humiliating him, they led him away to where the cross awaited him.
Large and heavy, edges rough, weight unbearable. That cross had stood, waiting for the unfortunate, the criminal, the victim of the court.
Silently, Jesus shouldered it.
march began to Golgotha, the place of the skull. He struggled on painfully, quietly, and alone.
Here on Calvary's way, not yet exhausted, still alert to every pain, still quickened by the lash, tripped on a stone perhaps, or stunned by a soldier's blow, Jesus falls.
The one who keeps the whole universe on its feet falls into the dust of the earth, and not one friendly hand is outstretched to help. Jesus falls alone.
He struggles to his feet and stands. Then he moves along.
Perhaps he found the strength to keep going because he caught a glimpse of a woman, his mother, her eyes just ahead in the crowd.
Mary stood there, silent and powerless. She mothered her son in his last moments, unable to touch, save with saddened eyes.
And Jesus, body torn, heart broken, fixed his eyes on his mother, comforted and comforting. No word is spoken, none is needed. Jesus meets his mother.
Strong and lightly, silent stood there, chance watchers of that strange procession on its way to Calvary. He was proud and from the country, young and insecure.
Carry the cross, they said. words empowered by whips and spears and numbers. And he did. He shouldered the cross and followed behind Jesus.
Jesus continued, step by step, terrified and tired.
A young maid, Veronica, put fear aside for a moment and stepped from the shadows, and with the woman's veil touched his face and bathed his sorrows to the tempo of her tears.
And he bequeathed to her, to us, the image not of a healthy, handsome, perfect face, but the disfigured face of a suffering servant, his signpost pointing to God's way.
He's had enough rest. The cross was thrust upon him again, brutally and still heavy with pain.
The shoulders ached, the head dripping blood, and knees began to buckle.
A whip is lashed. A hard word is spoken. God! A fist, a spear's blunt end, and Jesus falls again.
On the ground, that second time, the dust of discouragement covers the frame.
And yet, he moves on.
Old, worn women, weeping and leaning on each other, see Jesus struggle on. They see the glare of his eyes and the nodding of his body.
And yet, he sees their pain before his own, and he speaks. Weep not for me, but for you and your children.
well-trained body and overwhelmed the man.
Jesus, reaching the limits of endurance, tired beyond tired, hanging onto consciousness, falls a third time.
Bits of flesh and matted hair, drops of hardened blood, grime from city soil, are torn from his quivering frame as Jesus is stripped of his garments.
In a moment of utter shame, he finds himself naked and defenseless. Even the privacy of clothing is taken from him.
Hands, which did such good, are now nailed into the cross.
Hands, which blessed and healed, are now hammered, motionless.
And your feet, which walked on so many errands of mercy, are beaten into paralysis.
And then the cross is hurled aloft, hanging there between two thieves, bannered in the sky, flaunted in the face of God.
Jesus is
Crucified.
hanging there somewhere between heaven and earth. You speak the unspeakable.
Father, forgive. They know not what they do.
Then you face one final, terrible temptation, as your struggle is now with the Father.
The Father, whom you felt so attached to as Son, the Father, who had proclaimed to be so merciful and good, that same Father now seems to have abandoned you completely. You are on the verge of suffering the hell of God's absence as you cry out.
Now you are totally empty before the Father, nothing left to lay hold of. By human standards, you have failed, but somehow you continue to trust, and you show us where our hope and security lies. They offer you a sponge soaked with wine. Then you speak your last words.
Father, into your hands I commend my spirit.
It is finished.
8th grade. Would you come back out, please? I want to thank you all so much for being here. These students have worked really hard to get to this point today, and I am so proud of them. One of the first things that they ask when they come into the start of their 8th grade year in my class is, Mrs. Suter, when are we going to pick living wave across parts? How does that work? How do you choose? And so we talk about it. But then I tell them, okay, but now you can't keep asking me about it. And they're really good about that. So the day that you've waited for, this event that you've really looked forward to all year is here. And you guys did a phenomenal job. So I am really proud of you. Thank you for that. I want to recognize some of the different groups and people who are part of this and have been helping behind the scenes. We have 74 students involved this year between 6th, 7th, and 8th. So the students in front of me are the 8th grade students. Behind me are some 7th grade students and some 6th grade students that did a wonderful job singing, because those songs actually are not some of the, there's a lot of pauses and rest and coming in on some beats that aren't quite, that don't quite seem right, but you all did a fantastic job. So 7th, 6th grade. In the sacristy, I have 3 7th graders who were providing the lights for us. So 7th grade. Now, the sound effects. I have, I forget how many, I think 12 of them, that did a great job. Their job is not easy because they can't see. They have little peepholes, and so they have to use that. They have to go by just listening for cues. They don't even have a script. So they know they can't be seen or heard. Now is their time to be seen. 7th grade in the choir lounge. I have 2 special friends of mine that are helping with our music. Steve McCullough on piano. Steve, please stand. Steve is also our accompanist for our school masses. Catherine McLean behind me. Catherine is also in our choir. Mrs. Sarah Wallace did my programs for me, and the middle school team is great. And when I needed to get students at various times to pull them all together as one group, they were generous with their time, and when I needed to take them. So thank you for that. It amazes me every year, every group since I have been doing this have come up with some new ideas. They know I'm open to their ideas, and if I can do it, we will. And so this year, we added the 2 other crosses. That's one of the things that we added. And so I want to thank Mr. Brian Mascari for building those 2 crosses for us. The cross that we were using to practice with had split pretty badly. And then the retired cross that we were using to practice with really broke. And so I want to thank Mr. John Elbert, who worked his woodworking magic to repair those. And when I need help, his words to me are always, "I've got you, Mrs. Suter." So thank you to him for repairing our crosses. And then I couldn't do it without my husband's help. He also built a practice. We realized we needed to have a practice cross. So kind of last minute, I asked him if he would build us a practice cross, and is my go-to and helps me with a lot of last minute errands here and there, getting things ready. So thank you, Kevin. Students, thank you again for a wonderful job. Look at all these people that are here that came to watch this. So, fantastic job. Thank you. I'm really proud of all of you. They're up here saying, "Tell them you love us." I really do. We have a lot of fun, actually. This class really also, they really like to talk about food. So, yeah, right? So I do. I really love it. They have been, all of them have been phenomenal to work with. I just am so proud of all of them. So thank you all from the bottom of my heart. I want to wish you all a very blessed Easter. And just a reminder, students don't leave because we're going to sign the cross. We always sign the cross after our last performance. And then the retired cross hangs in our classroom, and this will hang in the classroom until we get it down to practice for next year. So thank you all again so much for being here to see all of their hard work. Thank you. Yeah, and just a reminder, veneration of the cross. What I'd like to do, 8th grade students, especially you first, and then any students if you'd like, but especially 8th grade students, the rest of you, just wait please. If you would line up if you want to venerate the cross, and then you can come back here and we'll sign the cross. And then anybody else out there who would like to venerate the cross, Deacon Mike is going to bring that out for that. So thank you very much.